Have you ever wondered how one of the fiercest enemies of Xiao Yan, the terrifying and proud Queen Medusa, became one of his most trusted companions, even his destined partner? Before Xiao Yan's rise to power shook the Doqi continent, there was a name that inspired both fear and awe. Queen Medusa. Born as Cai Lin, she was the leader of the Snake People tribe, one of the strongest tribes in the desert. Her beauty was unmatched, so dazzling that mortals called her a goddess. Yet behind that beauty was a terrifying aura. She was ruthless, cold, and her cultivation had already reached the level of Donghua, far beyond what most cultivators could even dream of. But Queen Medusa was not satisfied. Her tribe faced oppression from humans, and their survival was always at risk. She carried the burden of leading her people, ensuring their survival, and restoring their pride. It was this ambition that led her to pursue a terrifying path, the Nirvana Rebirth of the seven-colored heavens swallowing python. Xiao Yan and Queen Medusa's destinies first crossed when both sought the legendary heavenly flame, the Green Lotus Core Flame. Xiao Yan, still young but determined, needed the flame to rise stronger. Medusa, however, wanted it for herself to complete her Nirvana Rebirth and ascend beyond her limits. The desert trembled as the two clashed. On one side stood Xiao Yan, armed with his persistence, intelligence, and Yao Lao's guidance. On the other, Queen Medusa, graceful yet deadly, her attacks swift and venomous like the serpent she embodied. The fight pushed Xiao Yan to his limits. Facing Queen Medusa was like fighting a force of nature itself. But fate had something else planned. Queen Medusa succeeded in absorbing the Green Lotus Core Flame, but the process of Nirvana Rebirth was unstable and deadly. The flames consumed her. Her body could not withstand the violent eruption of energy. At the brink of destruction, she transformed into the seven-colored heaven, swallowing python, a beast that represented her rebirth. But even then, her life hung by a thread. It was at this critical moment that Xiao Yan made a choice no one could have predicted. Instead of letting his enemy die, a death that would have secured his own safety, Xiao Yan risked everything to save her. Why? Because Xiao Yan, despite their enmity, respected her determination, her pride, and perhaps felt something deeper stirring within his heart. The process of saving Queen Medusa was not simple. During her unstable nirvana, Xiao Yan had to guard her from enemies who wished to strike while she was vulnerable. He stood in the flames with her, enduring the raging energies that even Du Huang's feared to approach. And in the most shocking twist of fate, during the chaos of Nirvana Rebirth, Xiao Yan and Queen Medusa's destinies became intertwined in a way that neither could have expected. The proud queen who once sought his death now owed him her life. But Queen Medusa was not a woman to bend easily. Even after being saved, her pride clashed with Xiao Yan's determination. Their relationship became one of fiery tension, filled with conflict, unwilling respect, and hidden affection. Yet step by step, something began to change. As time passed, the terrifying Queen Medusa began to reveal her true self. Cai Lin, the woman behind the title. She was not just a cold and ruthless empress. She was a leader carrying the pain of her people, a woman with dreams, burdens, and loneliness. Xiao Yan's persistence, his kindness even toward his enemies, and his unshakable will slowly broke through her defenses. It was in the quiet moments, after battles, after bloodshed, that Cai Lin's heart began to soften. She was still Queen Medusa, still proud, still strong, but now she was also a woman who had found someone who could stand beside her without fear. The bond between Xiao Yan and Cai Lin became one of the most iconic in Battle Through the Heavens. What started as enmity transformed into reluctant alliance. What began as hatred grew into respect. And from respect blossomed love. Their love was not gentle, it was fiery, filled with clashes, stubbornness, and unspoken emotions. But it was real. Xiao Yan saved her not once, but many times. Through fire, through blood, through impossible odds. And Cai Lin, the queen who once stood above all others, chose to stand at his side. In her, Xiao Yan found not only a partner in battle, but a woman who would share his destiny. By the time Xiao Yan rose to become the Flame Emperor, Cai Lin had become more than just Queen Medusa, more than just the Snake People tribe's ruler. She had become his wife, his partner, and the mother of his child. Her arc stands as one of the most breathtaking transformations in the entire series, from feared enemy to beloved partner, from ruthless queen to devoted mother, from a woman consumed by flames to a woman reborn through love. And that, my friends, is the full Queen Medusa, arc explained. From deadly enemies locked in battle to partners bound by fate, Xiao Yan and Cai Lin's story is one of the most unforgettable in all of Battle Through the Heavens. It's a reminder that even the fiercest hatred can transform into love, that even the proudest queen can find someone who sees her not just as a ruler, but as a woman. So tell me in the comments, what's your favorite moment of Queen Medusa's arc? Was it her terrifying first battle with Xiao Yan, her Nirvana Rebirth, or the tender moments later as Cai Lin, Xiao Yan's wife? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more lore breakdowns and story explanations from Battle Through the Heavens and beyond.